you all for joining us today for the panel discussion. We've got quite a few panel here, and so I'm looking forward to it. I know you are too. I'm going to just start by introducing Eric Schneider, who's the editor of Fabric Furnishings International. But he's been publishing the magazine for 35 years and has been moving interwoven and hybrid garment for 56 years. So he has a little bit of background in the industry, and would make them the perfect person to moderate this event. So thank you, Eric. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Excellent. One of the hottest segments of the upholstery industry is called performance fabrics.
Microphone, please.
Yeah.
Use the other one.
This is yours. Hang on, we'll get it.
There we go.
As I said, one of the hottest segments of the upholstery fabric industry is the performance fabric category. But what is a performance fabric? That is the title of this discussion. I have here 4 people who are very involved with the industry. Keith Nail of Morgan Fabrics, Scott Kahn of Regal Fabrics, Tammy Buckner from Culp, and Lance Kazaya of Krypton, who's probably the granddaddy of performance fabrics. Yeah. In any case, I'd like you to talk briefly about your company and what you do in performance fabrics. Why don't we start with Keith?
Okay, Morgan Fabrics, corporate office is in Los Angeles. Our sourcing office is in Shanghai. So you can pretty much say we get a good 99% of our fabrics that are sold out of China. And competitive wise, we are selling to a lot of the same customers in the furniture industry. So as far as product, there's probably a lot here that I've heard of Bella. So when you start talking about performance for Morgan, I think that's our granddaddy of performance is Bella, 20 years or so. And that is produced through microdenier polyester, and then the process of the piece dyeing that goes through and the rest of the finishing. Other than that, from a performance perspective, it's pretty much what our customers are asking us to do. And I think for everybody here, you're probably going to hear most customers are asking for stain repellency or at least water repellency to help improve the cleanability of the fabrics. And I guess that trend of, the whole reason why we're here talking is to determine, I guess, competitively between all of us and how we're going to define what performance fabric is. I think individually, each company can kind of define it themselves. But as I experience with customers, it's hard to get their definition back to us to know that we're meeting all their requirements other than saying cleanability or durability. But Morgan's been in business for around 67 years. Our original owner passed away for 68? Okay. Yeah, original owner started Morgan out in the West Coast, basically as kind of buying and reselling on the West Coast. And then our most recent CEO and major owner, Michael Gittleson, who passed away around a year ago, moved the company into China as far as sourcing. And I think everyone here knows Michael's past and his persistence of development and really using a lot of warp knits in our business, which I know some of the other gentlemen in Culp being here are more, maybe more in wovens instead of knits. But anyway, to talk about Morgan, and then Steve Gilson, who's now here in the audience, is our president and managing the business now. So if any other question? Okay.
Scott from Regal Fabrics.
All right, so Regal Fabrics is a converter focused on upholstery fabric. We're out of Boston. Our founder, 37 years ago, my grandfather, so I'm third generation here. And so we source, develop out of Boston and do that in China, India, Turkey, Indonesia, Mexico, some made in US product. And our performance path is mostly to offer a white label performance solution. And so we mostly make our fabric without any kind of performance treatment, but still to performant levels as far as double rubs and the light fastness and pilling and all the different things that you need to be a commercial fabric. And then we do offer aftermarket or before market treatments, sort of depending on what the right application is. And so it's always available on anything that we make as an aftermarket, and certain things we think are, if we're doing something outdoor, we'll always start with some kind of performance treatment. If we're doing something, really great for contract, we might want to have something on that inherently and on our shelf. So kind of mix and match, but make it available on everything. Of course, that's only using the definition of performance as basically stain resistance treatment, which I think we'll talk about. There's other performance aspects that we sometimes don't even remember to brag about or talk about, because those are things that we're just doing to make great fabric. And so is that what performance is, or is performance a DWR finish? That's kind of the conversation we'll have today.
Thank you. Culp Fabrics. We've been around for 50 years. We're a little over 50 years, actually. We were started as a company family and really have expanded through the years. We do upholstery fabrics and mattress fabrics. We weave and knit most of our mattress fabrics here in North Carolina. Our upholstery fabrics, we really design and engineer everything in North Carolina and then work with different manufacturers across the world: China, Turkey, Vietnam, Mexico. We really, the majority is manufactured in China right now, but really have gone where our customers are. And for us, we started Performance Fabrics about 2016 on the upholstery side. And it's still been the fastest growing segment of our line through the years, especially through the pandemic. We saw a huge surge. We really at Culp, we sell everything on the upholstery side, from wovens, warp knits, prints, velvets, really across the board. We're leather looks, especially faux leather looks. We're really kind of one-stop shopping and have really made it our goal to make performance available through, all of those different product lines. It's something now I feel like our customers really view as something that's the norm. They expect it. Everyone since the pandemic has really made a change, I think, in their lifestyle. They entertain more at home. Their kids were studying at home. They want to make their furniture usable. And so that for us has really built out our Live Smart umbrella with all different types of performance fabrics that really are targeted for different areas of the market, whether it be the high-end washable slip covers, heavy use areas, even lift chairs for the medical areas. So it is a wide definition of what we make for performance fabrics.
Great, thank you. So Krypton Fabrics, so we've been in business now 30 years, and it's not as old as some of you guys, but still around, and all we do is performance. We don't sell a fabric that doesn't have a performance story. Everything we do is designed and engineered in North Carolina. We have sourcing offices. We're headquartered in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. So we have sourcing in Michigan. We have sourcing in Asia, in Hong Kong, in Shanghai and in Hong Kong. We have plants in North Carolina. We have a finishing plant in Kings Mountain, which is really where our business started, where we're just finishing. And we just acquired 4.5 years ago a weaving mill in Cliffside, North Carolina. Now it's Krypton Mills, formerly Abercrombie Textiles. We have an operation in Brussels, and we have two joint venture partners in Hangzhou, China, for finishing. So we're, very global today. We have about 300 employees worldwide. And, kind of our business started in hospitality and healthcare. So our very first customer was McDonald's 30 years ago. And the idea, the premise behind Krypton came from, it was not a very sexy story, but disposable diapers, Depends. And 30 years ago, if you put a sofa in a hospital, if they wanted upholstery on it, before they could upholster it, they'd have to laminate it to a piece of vinyl. So it would be essentially waterproof in case somebody's incontinent, couldn't get to the cushion. And so Craig and Randy Rubin, who kind of pioneered indoor performance, and indoors all we do, came up with this idea. They asked a question and, kind of checked the boxes, figured it out. And, 30 years later and 36 patents later, we have our business. And so I said, we started off in hospitality and healthcare. And then 10 years ago, we launched Krypton Home. And today that represents half of our business today. We'll do worldwide, we'll finish and ship about 15 million yards of fabric. So it's good. And, like everybody else up here, I think COVID was healthy for this part of the world. Residential, I think the commercial space has been slower to recover. And so we were talking earlier, thank goodness we have a diverse business and lots of customers in different places, because it was a healthy time for us. And, at that same time, we had an acquisition with the mill, and maybe that wasn't so healthy at the time, but it's been a great business for us. We have really 3 brands that we have. We have Krypton, we have Krypton Home, and Nanotex. Nanotex is kind of a technology play for us. It's an apparel play. We also, sell upholstery fabric with that. And we're vertical. So everything we do, we control the chemistry, we control the finishing. Everything's got a certain specification it has to hit in order for us to call it Krypton, or we will not sell it. We do have a few partners that we will license our technology to for certain markets. Fewer and fewer people. There's fewer mills around today than there used to be. But we're excited to be here and have this discussion. Thank you.
Thanks, Lance. If you look at the specifications of the products in this market, they're all over the place. I don't know if it's because the customer is different and is specifying different needs. I don't know what that is all about, but I thought we take a look at the qualities that make a good performance fabric and see if we can collectively come up with some specifications, some minimum specs. These are in no particular order. Double rubs, the Weizenbeek test. What should a minimum rub test be for a performance fabric? That's my first question. What should it be? If you look at the chart, Morgan starts at 30,000, and Regal goes from 50 to 100. Morgan goes from 30 to 100. Culp goes from 15 to 100. And Krypton has a minimum of 50. Well, why is it necessary to have such a wide array of tests when there should be don't you think there should be a minimum standard? I'd like to hear what you think about that. Any one of you.
There is a minimum standard. When you put, so we're 50 to 100 as well. We started in contract, like I said, so 50,000 is kind of what everybody, would ask for there. But the minute you say you can do 100,000 or vinyl 1 million double rubs, and I bet nobody sitting up here has probably had a fabric fail for abrasion, right? It could be 30,000. It's probably not going to fail for abrasion. But once the A&D community would see, oh, you can do 100,000, that's the new standard. They want, if 50 is okay, then 100,000 has got to be great. That's what they want. But we've always had our brand minimum 50,000 for 30 years. And, I can tell you there's, not that we don't have fabrics that have issues every now and again, but abrasion failures rarely ever happen.
So 50,000 double rubs, in your opinion, should be the minimum. Does everybody agree with that?
Don't actually agree with that. For us, we have a wide range of customers. And when you have pillows that are trending right now with these heavy loop and boucle yarns, the aesthetics to take it to 50,000 would really honestly suck all the fun out of the pillow. You're tacking down all the floats, you're adding new twist to the yarn to get it. So I think, people still want stain performance on those fabrics, but I think you have a little leeway there that body cloths, maybe you set a standard minimum, but fabrics in general, across the board, you're going to service as performance, and they're going to have some different factors there that are considered.
So we could say for body cloth, it should be 50, but for something which is a high fashion item, it could be 15. Because there's a trade-off between the double rubs and the fashion of the fabric.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Right, and I think there are industry standards that 15 is residential and 30 is contract, but I just think in the field, the customers who are actually doing that buying don't adhere to those standards. They want what they want, and so it really does depend on what kind of cloth it is and where it's going and what its purpose is.
So 15,000 double rubs for contract is a minimum?
30, I think, is for contract, but I don't,
30?
we don't know a lot of contract buyers who will
Hmm.
accept 30 because they've been in the field and they know what they actually want. You know, so the industry standards maybe are lagging in the real world and what technologies allowed them to become.
The next one is seam strength. Keith, what's your thought about that? How do we express seam strength in a performance fabric?
Well, it's just kind of like the double rubs. It's not really a huge issue anymore. The engineering or construction, whether it's for pillows or whether it's for body cloth, at least for us, our products, the seam slippage or seam strength, I would, pushing it up from the traditional 25 pounds. What seam strength's a little bit different than seam slippage. Slippage has a value of 25 pounds, as he was saying, what the industry normally accepted as residential. Seam strength or break has always been around 50, like a tensile strength also. But again, for us, it's not been issues, but you can over-engineer for no reason, but probably still in that 30 range for slippage up to, I'd say seam break or strength is around 50 is still perfectly fine.
You agree? Yeah. Okay. Is this of interest to you? This is something we don't normally talk about. What about light fastness? What's that all about?
You're talking residential, indoor, right?
The indoor and outdoor equation. I mean, is it different for indoor and outdoor on light fastness?
Like I said, so all we're focused on is indoor. So we're class 4 at 40 hours. I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, we hold to that standard. There's a lot of testing that we do because we, like everybody else, I mean, we do make a lot of fabric in North Carolina. We buy a lot in China, India, Taiwan, Turkey. So it's one of those things that, once we buy a fabric, we're constantly testing it every year to make sure that the integrity of the fabric is consistent with where we started. But, we rarely have failures for light fastness. I mean,
So what do you think the minimum for light fastness should be?
I mean, I'm fine with where it is today at class 4 at 40 hours for indoor.
And are we discussing outdoor as well? Because I do think that's a different set of
So
standards.
this is indoors, 40 hours, yeah? And what about out?
I think outdoor is a wide range too. There's never been anything really set. Some people start at 1,000 minimum and some people start at 5,000.
But how do we know what the correlates?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's one of those things as well that a lot of these tests are subjective. You can work with an outside lab and they can give you something totally different than what you're getting. But I think for outdoor, I think 1,000 hours is sufficient because you're going to have outdoor furniture that's under covered areas. You're going to have outdoor fabric that's out in extreme conditions. So I don't think you can take it down or take it up too high and eliminate all those other options.
1,000 hours for outdoor. What do you think about that?
No, that's for what we offer for outdoors. That's been pretty much the minimum, yes.
As buyers, something along this fabric, they have no real way of judging one versus the other. So trying to come up with these minimum standards that have some basis to make a decision. It's more than just a pretty face, right? What about a warranty? I see on the warranty side that Morgan offers a 1-year warranty, Regal offers up to 5, Gulf offers 3, and Krypton has 2, one for Krypton Home of 2 years, and Krypton Barrier of 5. What's the difference between the two? Why is it necessary to have 2 different warranties?
So the Krypton barrier, it's a different product, right? So it's all for healthcare and hospitality. And the barrier is what makes it, essentially waterproof. It's the only fabric in the US approved by the EPA is fully disinfectable. That's registered with the EPA. So the 5-year warranty is if we have a fabric that's installed at the Cleveland Clinic and within 5 years, if healthcare, or it could be the Marriott, if any type of liquid is getting through the fabric into the cushion, under normal wear and tear, if somebody sits on it with a screwdriver is different, then we will replace the fabric and furniture at our cost. Krypton Home doesn't have the barrier, so it's all about cleanability and stain resistance. And so there's a grouping of stains that we've come up with our customers that, within a 2-year time period, if they have a stain that they can't get out, we'll go work with them to help them clean it. If we can't clean it, then we replace it.
Okay, so you're at 2. Yeah, keep forgetting. So you're at 2-year for Krypton Home, and Morgan is at 1. A Regal offers up to 5. What does that depend on? Up to 5.
We're just really generous.
Hmm?
I think we're just really generous. No, I think it was a discussion with different customers about what they needed. So, I mean, typically we really just try to stand behind what we sell. And so, when we were asked for a 5-year warranty, we were, willing and able to give that. And we've done, other things for other customers who have asked for what they've asked for. But we have done and will do up to 5 on the warranty for what the performance is doing to it. And that's been okay.
It's the same fabric between 1 and 5. You just stretch it a bit, or it's a different finish.
No, I think we would look at it on a case by case basis. So we have done up to 5. There was a customer who needed a 5-year warranty for their customer. That was important to them. We looked at all of these things we're talking about, and we felt comfortable that we could provide it.
So can we say that there should be a minimum warranty on performance fabrics of 1 year? Is everybody comfortable with that?
If you want to go to 2, we could, our history doesn't show there's a problem after between 1, 2, or 3, really,
Right.
I'd say, but we just kind of stuck with the history of our performance is more inherent. We're not talking about a lot of the other chemistries that other companies have developed. We're talking about the true construction engineer, the base of the fabric that we're talking about.
So at least 1 year for a warranty should be a minimum standard.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And then, like he said, it's between supplier and customer on negotiating what you want to see beyond 1 for residential.
For residential, 1 year. 5 year for healthcare?
I think it's what companies feel comfortable with. We've had, a lot of history to support why we use 5 years, and we have had very, very few claims that come through with that time frame. And I mean, it's fine for our company.
Why don't we pass that around, that sample book that you brought? Let the people look at the fabrics. Okay.
I was going to add to that too. We're 3 years across the board, but on our healthcare fabrics, we do have certain fabrics that are 5 years. So a residential is 3 years across the board.
So we could say 1 to 3 year for residential, yeah? Depending on what the customer wants.
It's always case by case. You get a claim or a complaint. Every customer is different.
And I think performance or not, probably all 4 of our companies just want to stand behind what we're doing and treat our customers well. And so, if warranty or not, you're trying to make things right.
What about finish? What are the minimum standards on a finish for performance fabric? Thoughts?
Yeah, I guess define what the minimum standard would be inside of a, inherent or add-on, I guess the two things we have here. I mean, I guess I'd say, if you are going to finish, there is a minimum standard of what it needs to do as far as its repellency, which is, I think probably you need to be 85 out of 100, I think is about where you want to be.
85 out of 100, what's the,
Always 80, yeah, spray would be that. Yeah.
100 what? What's the commodity?
Well, we always say, I think it's a minimum of 80, but then we're always going to try to be 90 to 100, 100 being as high as you can get for spray rating.
Just 80 to 100.
But but I mean, this means a lot of things, right? The finish. So we all have here that it's inherent. And so, but for us, we're doing a lot of different things with our chemistry. It's all bundled together, it's bundle features. So it's highly repellent, highly cleanable. We have microbial protection embedded in our chemistry. Again, it depends on if we're putting the barrier on it or not putting the barrier on it. But I mean, ours is permanent. So it's not going to wash off. You're not going to clean it off. You do have to clean it like everybody else. But, we've been, PFAS free now for almost 18 months worldwide.
Does everybody know what PFAS is? Polyfluoride.
So it's basically a carbon molecules. Years ago, we had C8, then we went to C6, now we're at C0. And so, there's mandates being made in Europe and in the US with the EPA and different states that are saying what can and can't be used in fabric or carpet or firefighter foam. And it's kind of crazy where it's kind of all gone. But
What's the difference between C6 and the current standard of C0?
So C6 is 6 carbon chains, C0 is 0. So everybody's taken the fluorine out of the chemistry. Basically what's going on. So like if you think about back in the day with Teflon, that made everything super repellent. That was fluorine. And so over time, we've all removed it from our chemistry. When we made the switch, we did it globally the same day, and then we never allowed it in our plant again.
The problem was the fluorine would never dissipate in the environment. It was there permanently.
And I think part of it was the industry got a bad rap for some bad characters, none of which I think are in this room. I don't make firefighter foam. I mean, it was a lot of things that were happening that were going into the water. And, I think we all kind of got bulked into it, but it's everywhere. I mean, it's on your iPhone, it's in pizza boxes. I mean, and the reason people use fluorine is because it's the only element that repels oil, and it's resistant to heat and all kinds of things. So, that was a tough thing. So when we made that switch, I mean, we've been playing with that chemistry for almost 6 years to get the performance as equal as we could to what we were using at C6. So, and there's not a replacement for fluorine. I mean, look at the periodic chart, there's not another one there. So, I think there's some give and take, and our whole thing with our R&D and our chemist was if we can't repel oil, we have to be able to clean all the same stains we were saying from 2 years ago, and that was kind of our benchmark.
The 80-100, what is the unit that we're expressing? What's it called?
The spray rating test.
Spray rating.
And it is an ASTM standard that is judged by. And that's something we've always used 80 as our
It's
minimum.
ASP rating?
ASTM.
ACM. ASCM. TM, okay. That's the ASTM rating, 80-100. And fluorine free.
Yes.
Can't use fluorine anymore in the composition.
Well, I was going to say all the regulations have been delayed that they were putting into place, but the general public does not want fluorine in their fabrics anymore. And we did basically what you guys did back in 2020. We started eliminating it, just seeing this change and what consumers.
So we're
gravitating
talking
toward.
non-PFAS, basically.
Yes.
That's a standard with the performance fabric business. Okay, let's talk brand. I know that Culp has Live Smart, right?
We do. We have Live Smart, and that's our umbrella brand. Within Live Smart, we have Live Smart, which is basic performance fabrics for residential. We have Live Smart Evolve, which is our sustainable recycled bottles. We have Live Smart Solutions, which is geared toward outdoor. We have Live Smart Barrier Plus, which is really takes it from water repellent to waterproof. And that's really geared toward high use areas, healthcare. We also have Live Smart washables, and that's something we've really geared toward slip covers. It lets the consumer wash it at home in the machine. So we do really have a lot of aspects under the Live Smart brand, but that's our overall brand.
Lance, it's Krypton.
So we have Krypton, which is again our contract hospitality brand. We have Krypton Home, which is residential. And then we have Nanotex, which is hospitality and apparel.
What's the third one?
Nanotex,
Nanotech,
TEX,
TEK,
X.
TEI, Nanotech.
Mhm.
And that's for,
Apparel and hospitality.
okay.
So we do call ours Regal Pureformance, but that's really just sort of between us and our customers. And we've really focused on being a white label solution for performance. So, helping people to build their own brand. So the furniture company, will put their own brand over ours, and that lets us, try to compete, to be a low cost performance option for everybody.
And Morgan is Morgan.
Morgan is Morgan. We pretty much call it inherent when we are working with our customers. And, if you want to say it on our header cards, we'd call it inherent performance because it's not added chemistry of any sort. But we do get customers that say, can you put Krypton on it for us? Can you put Nanotex, or, or the old DuPont, which I think he was afraid to say a minute ago. But yeah,
So the brand names.
the brand names
Get
from the
very
past
strong.
especially are still, they come to us and they'll say that to us.
And what do you tell them?
We'll look into it.
You can do it?
We'll look into it.
We'll look into it. Probably the most important part of the discussion has to do with stain removal. A performance fabric is a fabric which repels stains easily. Yes or no?
At the highest. I think what we were saying is the cleanability of it.
How do we measure it? From one product to the other? What's the test for cleanability?
Well, we use a modified test, a third-party lab, or the Keith Nell test inside my own lab. But it's the same principle. It's spot cleaning, making sure that mild detergent or soap, lukewarm water, that type of thing. Or as like you said, during the initial COVID period, it was all about trying to kill a bacteria, trying to kill virus or whatever it might be, eliminate. So everybody was asking us the same type of, can we wipe down with a Clorox wipe? Can we do this? Can we do this? So yes, we started experimenting more with different immediate, hands-on retail bought, store bought, wholesale bought.
Is everybody happy with warm water and detergent as a way to clean your product?
Yes, that's what we recommend.
Same.
Everybody agrees on that. Okay.
One of the things we do as well is kind of like Keith, and we send a lot out for third-party testing, but we also have, our labs in the US and in Asia. And, we're staining the fabrics, and, we use a lot of polyester, we use a lot of cotton, rayon. And so we'll have, vegetable oil, mustard, ketchup, red wine, coffee, and there's different types of coffee you can put on there that are tougher or easier to clean, highlighter, ink. And so our lab is looking at things, how easy is it to clean right away after an hour, after we've heated it up, after you have a weight on it. And, we also will work with our customers when we have installation. So we'll say, look, this is the best way to clean the fabric. And soap and water is great. Hot water extraction is phenomenal. But you got to clean the fabric. And I think that's what we probably all deal with the most is that, they get a performance fabric in and they think, oh, it's like a self-cleaning oven. You just hit this button, it cleans itself. And we haven't figured that part out yet, but they do have to clean it. And I think a lot of the times we get called into a meeting with a customer and they're having cleaning issues. It's most of it is they haven't cleaned it or they're not using the right method to clean it. And so we have a stack of data, MSDS sheets. So we could go to a hospital and they could say, hey, we're using Ecolab, whatever, to clean the upholstery. And we could quickly tell them, okay, that's safe on the fabric, or do not use it. The pH is too high. There's a lot of data that we go back and forth with that we've just accumulated over time.
For the healthcare industry especially.
And residential. I think people are scared. I mean, a lot of people don't know what to do. But I mean, everybody's got detergent and water, but the issue is if a little bit of soap is good to clean your fabric, and somebody thinks a lot of soap is even better, and it might help you clean it initially, but if you don't get the surfactant out of the fabric, it attracts more dirt. So
Is there any
watch
stain that won't come out with soap and water?
There is. Nail polish, lipstick are two of the big offenders. Very hard. And there's some others that are just more difficult to clean. I think Sharpie is one of the ones that we've gotten a lot of questions on, actually recently. And it's kind of interesting. We do the same tests in our lab for different stains, and we rate them on a 1 to 4 basis of how well they clean and how well, can you see them afterwards. We also do it with peeling and abrasion. We'll look at it after 50,000 rubs, after 100, and then see if it retains its water repellency and stain resistance. But one of the big things we saw during the pandemic was all of these companies were coming out with fabric cleaners that, sterilize your fabric, sanitized it. We would bring those in, and these were being marketed in Harris Teeter and different places to the consumer. And you would look, and they would actually, when you evaluated them, and destroy the integrity of the fabric. They were hurting the performance of the fabric, dissolving the backings, some different things. So we've really been careful in what we recommend because the industry obviously is not controlling this because, things are making it to the consumer that are absolutely things that should not be cleaning your fabric.
Is this specified at the point of sale at retail, what that fabric will and will not do in terms of cleanability?
I don't think so. I mean, I think
Shouldn't
a
it
lot of
be?
the time you're in there, it's a big considered purchase. You're spending, $6,000 on a new sofa, and for $6,200, you can get the performance version. So you say, yes, it sounds better. And then you go home. There's no literature that goes with them. They don't really know what the performance meant, but it's performance. Why wouldn't that be better? Right. And so then when it comes down to the stain, maybe it repels the liquid the first time and that's kind of cool. And you go, oh, that's good. And you wipe it up. But then your kid spills mustard and you don't notice for 5 weeks, because it's in the basement. That's not going to be an easy thing to clean. That's a different level. And so I do think there's a lack of consumer knowledge about what they're even buying. They just know it seems better. And so then I guess it's our job to have it actually be better. But there are cases where there's only so much you can do. And the lack of sort of sell-through knowledge probably hurts some of those situations.
What about the claims with performance fabric? In other words, if you were getting a heavy sea of claims, you might do more retail to specify in the label what it will and won't do. What's the claim percentage with performance fabrics?
It's really.
And I'll say too, I'll give our marketing team some props. There are a couple of them sitting here because they do a great job of working with our retail partners on how you clean the fabric, whether it's in-store education, if it's, literature that we're, putting with the fabric, videos, all kinds of, we have lots of videos of how you clean, different stains. And so we try to educate as much as we can up front. And it's easier with some retailers than it is with others. But we find the more education we do up front, the better yield we have in the long run.
Would you say that claims are less than 1% of all the fabrics, performance fabrics sold?
Our company, sure, absolutely.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. We have very little.
Let's talk about the years you've been in this business. I know Krypton, you said 90, Krypton 93. Culp?
For performance or in business?
Yeah, performance.
Performance. We started performance in 2016.
Okay. Regal?
2013.
Mhm. And Morgan? So 1983? 1993, yeah?
Be
Huh? 2003. Okay. How much of your total business today is Performance Fabrics as a company?
For us as a company, probably around 40,
Is it growing?
definitely growing.
Mhm.
We're growing double digits every year with it, but probably around 40 to 50% as a company. It may be higher because we do so much contract and mattress fabrics, but I'd say for the residential, that definitely holds true.
Krypton? Regal?
20 to 30.
Morgan?
Inherent performance, I'd say we're in the 80%.
80%. It's still growing. I mean, if you're buying a performance fabric, that means you're not buying a fabric that doesn't perform, right? Audience, any questions? Is the market still growing? I think there's one more called crocking. Crocking, does everybody know what that is? The color washes off on your clothes, right? Is that what crocking is? Rubbing off. What's the status of that in terms of performance fabric? Is that an issue at all?
We don't have issues with it. And I think it's just your general industry standard of 3 for wet, 4 for dry. And that's just, that's actually AATCC.
You all agree on that? All right, I don't have any more categories. This business is growing. It's accounting for a higher percentage of the upholstery business every year. You're all indicating double-digit growth in this segment of your business. What's coming next? Any thoughts about it in this category? You got to be thinking about some new bells and whistles. What could they be?
I think for Morgan, we got to go back and look at more of what we can come up with a real brand,
Yeah,
which has been a topic for many years. But yeah, again, is it driven by our customer or is it driven by Morgan? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're not on the Krypton level of, being in the lab looking for the next thing. I think we're more focused on making really nice things that also perform. So I don't know about performance innovation.
For Culp, we're really adding a lot of different innovations, but especially for us, really exploring the health and wellness area. That's something we see growing, and a lot of people can't sleep in their beds, and so we're really targeting that market. We're having performance fabrics. We have Nanobionic, which is a performance health and wellness fabric that's really targeted for recliners and people that sleep on those, that really gives the customer something beyond just the cleaning performance and the stain resistance. It really improves their health and works with infrared technology to give them something additional to it.
Yeah, I mean, for us, kind of a lot of the same here. So we do have a health and wellness, play that we're doing as well. We've had it for about 3 years. It's called Salient that we have, and it's similar, infrared technology increases the blood flow in your body. At the end of the day, everything that we're doing, and whether we're bringing fabric from China or we're making fabric from North Carolina, I mean, it's a beauty contest, right? People aren't going to buy ugly fabric, so you gotta constantly evolve and, we're 10 years ago, we didn't finish anything that wasn't polyester. We had a little bit of olefin, but we're mainly a polyester house. And today, a significant part of our business comes from cotton. And, that's the one thing that we're constantly evolving into is how does our technology that we apply to fabric lend itself to a variety of fibers. And so, like I said, all we do is indoor, but we also have technology that goes in leather, that goes in polyurethane, wall coverings. And, we kind of have our brand, segmented a little bit, but we have different technology for every application. And for us, it's not a one size fits all product for fabric. All fabrics created different. If fabric comes in our plant that's 100% cotton, we don't finish it the way we finish polyester. You have different heat profiles. There's different routing for how we finish the fabric. And so we're constantly learning, evolving in what we're doing. But, since we bought the mill in the US, there's a lot of turmoil in this world that we're all dealing with. And supply chain management through COVID was a bear. But we've really put a lot of money in our R&D efforts in North Carolina to try to come out with more made in America product and to create value. So, everybody wants to, get China because it's cheaper. We certainly can't compete from a pricing standpoint and a labor standpoint in the US, but, we're coming up with value that, 3 or 4 years ago, we couldn't touch at the mill. And we're getting better at it. And, we're constantly looking at our supply chain too, is where do we want to be in 5 years? Where do we be in 10 years? And a lot of times when we look at it, it's not where we are today, where we want to be in 5 years. It's a different part of the world and how we service our business.
What I've been doing for 35 years, you can get a copy of it on the first, second, and fifth floor. It's a quarterly. It's about sourcing and fabrics only. We don't cover furniture, we just do fabric. I want to thank all of you for your effort today, which really appreciated, and also thank you for coming and listening. I assume you have no questions? Okay, thank you. I think we're done.